For this video, I'm going to answer an email that I got on Friday. So the email was basically asking how I started to make the transition from just trading to then becoming consistently profitable. The things that I changed, maybe the things that I started to notice, and what kind of helped me and guided me into that transition. So I'm not really sure where the video is going to go because there's not kind of one thing that I can just put my finger on, but I'm gonna try and unpack it. I'm gonna take you through what I think were the kind of most important sort of eureka moments and the things that I changed and the things that I really started to work on. Because when I was learning, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, in my videos I always say, I made every single mistake in the book. I am not exaggerating. I had a terrible time learning to trade. I was that person who would have absolutely no risk management, and I would just build my account really quickly on the back of kind of emotional trading and luck, and then it would all come crashing down, and I would be sitting in what was my bedroom at that time, sitting in the corner of my bedroom, just with my head in my hands, wishing that the floor would open up and swallow me because I felt so low. I felt like a complete loser. Now that's unfortunately the journey that a lot of people who are learning to trade go on, and you start kind of mentally and I would even say physically beating yourself up because of this process. I'd been going through that for a fairly significant amount of time. I would say around about 2 years. Now, when things started to change, I developed my trading plan, and developing a trading plan is all well and good because even when you have a trading plan and it's a perfect trading plan, you can still go through this process. I used to be absolutely fine with trading until I had a loss. So I could sit down, I could be disciplined, I could be perfect, I could trade my plan, and then maybe I'd make a little bit of a mistake, or maybe just the trade that I was taking wouldn't work out and I would have a loss. And everything would just fall to pieces. And I would go back through this process of trying desperately to get back to break even or in profit for the day, just by buying, selling random areas of the market. I'd go into this kind of spiral for 2-3 hours, and invariably what would happen, even if I got lucky a few times, eventually it would catch up with me and I would have the enormous drawdown. So one of the things that I started to notice was that if I removed kind of the things that I was doing incorrectly, the huge drawdown mistakes, if I removed that, I would be profitable. And when I started to understand this and really internalize it, it started to kind of show me that, well, instead of just doing the same thing over and over and over again, which is what most people do when they're learning to trade until they can't afford to do it anymore, if I start to actually work on my weaknesses, rather than just focusing on the trading plan, perhaps I can start to kind of turn this around. And that's one of the main things you have to do if you are looking to become consistently profitable. It's understand that you are an enormous part of the trading that you're going to do. It doesn't matter how good your trading plan is, you need to work on yourself. So another thing I say in videos is that instead of trying to kind of sit down on Monday morning and think to yourself, okay, from now on, I'm going to be a perfect trader. I'm going to be a consistently profitable trader. If you instead look to make very small, incremental improvements day to day, that starts to build over time. You have to kind of identify, first of all, your weaknesses. So for me personally, it was after a loss was one of the main ones. After a loss, I would spiral into these terrible kind of trading periods that would do all of the damage. I started to implement a rule whereby after a loss, and back then it was after a loss, I just shut down. I just turned the computer off and I got away. Now, on some days that meant that there would have been another trade where I would have made my money back, but I knew emotionally I couldn't do that. I would just make mistakes, and it was better for me to just take the loss and walk away. So I started to kind of implement that, and that started to help me a little bit over time. Even today, after a loss, I will take kind of 10-15 minutes away from the charts just to try and reset, just to kind of say to myself and start to believe it that it doesn't matter that I've had a loss, it's only one loss. And the most important thing is that I continue following my trading plan and look at the kind of big picture. So figuring out your weaknesses first of all, and then working on small ways to kind of adjust what it is that you are doing. Another thing that I did was that I stopped thinking about the money trade to trade. So I used to sit down with my trading account, I'd take a trade, and I'd instantly be thinking, okay, so that's me now up to X amount. If I get another X amount, then I'll be up to this kind of figure by the end of the month. And if I just keep trading like this. By doing that, what I was doing was putting pressure on myself, first of all. So I was setting myself targets, like random targets. I don't even know why they were targets. And the targets always kind of increased if I was trading better. It would never just be, let's say, I don't know, make £1,000. It would be, if I got to 1,000, it'd be, oh, well, maybe I should be making 2,000. And then I maybe get to 2,000, I'd be thinking, well, maybe I should be making 3,000. And I was always kind of adjusting the goal and making it impossible for me to get there. The problem with doing that also, with checking the money over and over and over again, is that when you then have a loss, you start to think to yourself, well, I was at X, but now I'm back down here. So I need to get the money back to where I was before I can start building again. And what that makes you do is take stupid trades. Because you kind of, you're more thinking about the losing trade that you've just taken, and you want to just kind of erase that and get it out of your mind. And it causes you to lower your standards. And you start taking terrible trades. That's what I did. Now, another thing, one of the I would say one of the big things, is that as I started to kind of gain this consistency, I didn't really believe that I was consistent. I mean, that sounds so stupid, but you can obviously look at your P&L and you can see I'm making money. But in my mind, I was telling myself, I'm just kind of extending the period before I blow this account up. One of the reasons for that is because a lot of traders won't even admit this. This is the absolute truth. No matter how long you trade for, no matter how good at trading you become, you are going to make mistakes. You are going to screw up. You're going to have a trade through fear of missing out. You're going to have a revenge trade in there at some point. You're going to trade because you're bored and you're frustrated and you just want to get away from the charts. Sounds ridiculous. How can someone say that? It happens. You are only human. You're sitting at these charts every bloody day and you are being mentally drained. It's exhausting to trade. It is exhausting. And eventually you are going to make a mistake. But what I used to think was every time I'd make a mistake, I would then have the mistake and I would catch it and I would stop. But in my mind, I was thinking to myself, okay, but you've made a mistake. You're not a trader. It doesn't matter that you're making money. This isn't what you're supposed to be doing. And this will eventually unravel everything. So one of the main things as a trader, and that helps you become consistently profitable, is accepting that you are only human, that you are going to always make mistakes. But the key thing is reducing the number of mistakes. And the key thing is not allowing the mistakes to spiral. It's basically accepting that you're only a human, as I've said. Understand that you're never going to be perfect. You're never going to trade perfectly. The main thing is you are following your trading plan for the majority of the time. You're not allowing yourself to get in your own way. And you are seeing your account consistently growing. So those are the kind of main things that I would say that really helped me progress as a trader. I would say the main one, if I'm being totally honest, was kind of accepting that I am going to still make mistakes. I still do it. When I do make a mistake, I say it on my videos. You know, I'm happy to admit it. Sometimes you just click the button at the wrong time, you get into a trade, you hold the trade, and it ends up in a loss. But the main thing is not allowing the loss to spiral. So those are a few of the things that really helped me. Hopefully that will kind of give some insight. You know, small incremental improvements. Stop focusing on the money. Understand that mistakes, when they come, they do happen. It's all part of trading. And just give yourself a little bit of a break. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Stop thinking about it in terms of I want to be a millionaire in the next couple of months, or I want to leave my job within 3-4 weeks, because that's another thing that I did. When I first started trading, I set myself this ridiculous timetable of, I basically saved up enough money to cover my bills for, I think it was maybe only 2 months. It sounds quite short, but I'm almost certain it was only 2 months. Enough money to cover the bills, enough money to fund the trading account. And I thought I would spend 1 month kind of making the mistakes and learning, and then the second month growing the trading account to such an extent that I could then trade full time. That kind of pressure is going to do only one thing, and that is hold you back as a trader. Unfortunately, so many people recently came flying into trading and because of crypto. And they came flying into trading because of crypto, because there were these kind of promises of wild returns. And that's fueled this belief again that you can come into trading, you can make all this money very quickly, you can suddenly be living an easy life, and all you need to do is take a training course, or just buy something like Bitcoin. It used to be, before Bitcoin, it was binary options. Bitcoin and kind of crypto have taken over. Now, I'm not saying crypto is a bad thing. I'm just saying that the advertising around crypto, when it started to kind of explode, was dragging people in on the belief that they could make easy money and fast money. So if you can get that out of your mind, it's really, really going to help. It takes time, it takes dedication, it's a lot of hard work, but if you do focus on it, if you really enjoy it enough to keep doing it, you can get to the other side and you can start to make those consistent profits. Okay guys, so as always, I hope that was helpful. Hopefully it's going to give you a little bit of kind of help as you're moving forward as a trader. I'm James Orr, and thank you.